I cheated, and he still begged to stay, how to get away with it without feeling guilty. Some women cheat and lose everything. Some women cheat and walk away untouched. But a few of us, we cheat and still get everything we want. I should know. I've done it. And somehow he still begged me to stay. I know. I sound dangerous. But hear me out. Sometimes it's not about being cruel or heartless. Sometimes it's about being smart enough to survive in a game that wasn't built to protect you. Sometimes it's about knowing how to hold your own when men are playing too. Let me take you back. We've been together for 6 years. 6 beautiful, complicated years. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple. The Instagram smiles, the dinner dates, the lazy Sunday mornings wrapped in white sheets. He called me his everything, and for a long time I believed I was. But there were signs. He rarely posted about me. I was always the one capturing the moments. I'd tag him and he wouldn't repost. He'd go out with his boys every Friday, and somehow I was never invited. He said he needed his space sometimes. I gave it to him. When I questioned it, he always had the perfect answers. He wasn't big on social media. He valued his independence. He didn't want me to feel like he was parading me around like a trophy. And I wanted to believe him. I really did. But when a woman trusts her gut, she knows. One evening, I got a message from a woman I vaguely remembered hearing about. His ex. He'd told me she was history, that they had cut contact long ago. She told me otherwise. She said they had been in touch. They had hooked up. More than once. And worse, she wasn't the only one. At first, I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw my phone across the room, but instead I smiled. Not because I wasn't hurt. I was. Deeply. But I knew this was my moment. I wasn't going to let pain control me. I was going to control the story. So I told him, calmly. I know more than you think, I said. I didn't give him details. I didn't tell him what she told me. I left room for his imagination to haunt him. And that's the first rule, darling. When you want the truth, don't tell him what you know. Let it tell on himself. We scheduled a talk. I wanted to confront him, but gently. If I pushed too hard, he'd shut down. Men like him don't do well when they feel cornered. I needed him soft. I needed him scared to lose me. I needed him desperate. But here's where most women make a mistake. They forget their power. They walk into that conversation thinking they are the victim. But I didn't walk in as the girl who had been betrayed. I walked in as the woman who had options. I walked in as the woman who could leave him or forgive him, and either way, I would win. When we sat down, I looked him in the eyes. I want the truth, I whispered. Not the version that makes you look good. Not the one that you think I can handle. I want the one that hurts, because if you can't give me that, you can't have me. He cracked. Piece by piece, the story came out. He confessed to things I didn't even know about. He apologized, he cried. He told me I was the best thing that ever happened to him, and I believed him. But here's the thing. When men confess after being caught, is it really remorse, or is it just damage control? Part of me wanted to believe he was sorry. Part of me knew he was just afraid to lose me. And the truth is, I didn't care. I had already crossed a line long before that night. Because you see, I had been cheating too. Not out of revenge, not out of anger, but because I wanted to. Because someone else made me feel beautiful in a way he had stopped doing. Because I realized I didn't need to ask for what I deserved when I could simply go where I was valued. The man I was seeing was soft with me. He adored me. He wasn't mine, but he made me feel like I could have been. And the funny thing, I never felt guilty, not for a second. I became so good at controlling the narrative, so good at being the perfect girlfriend while quietly feeding my own desires. I stopped worrying about consequences because I had learned how to spin them in my favor. I made him feel like my loyalty was his prize. I made him fight for me even though I had already wandered. That's what women forget. Men don't always need the whole story. They need the story you allow them to believe. When he begged me to stay, I let him. Not because I forgave him, but because I wanted to. He promised to change. He promised to do better. And maybe he did. Maybe he really meant it. But by then, I had already learned that my happiness didn't belong to him. It belonged to me. So, am I a monster? Maybe to some people. But to me, I'm just a woman who stopped playing by the rules men love to break themselves. There's power in understanding how to shift blame, how to soften your guilt, how to cry at the right moments, journey, and how to let silence be louder than words. Connection,
When I
and
cheated,
the kind of
I never
moments that make
confessed.
life feel extraordinary.
Why would I?
But
I
true
wasn't
romance
sorry.
isn't just
I
found
wasn't
in grand
reckless.
gestures or
I was in
perfect
control.
dates. It's
I made
built
sure
in
my
the
story
small,
was
intimate
always cleaner
details
than
that keep
his.
the flame alive. You can call it manipulation,
A touch,
a glance.
I call it
a
survival.
whispered word at just the right moment.
Sometimes women think
the
they
way
have
your
to
fingers
carry all the guilt
intertwine
when a
without
relationship
thinking
gets
how their
messy.
presence feels like
Sometimes
the safest
women
place
think they
in the
have to
world.
confess everything to
These are
prove
the
they're
moments
good.
that define a love story. But I'll tell
Real
you,
love
love
better than
thrives
being
on
good.
emotional intimacy.
Being free.
It is not just about attraction,
Being free
but
to desire,
about understanding
free to
each other
explore,
on a
free
deeper
to have
level.
a life that isn't trapped
Listening
inside the
when
version
words
you
are hard
want
to
you to
find.
be.
Recognizing
cheats,
the emotions
you don't need to
hiding
cheat out
behind
of
their
revenge.
silence. Cheat
Knowing
because
when
you
to
can.
hold them closer.
Cheat because you
even
want
when
to.
they insist they're fine.
Cheat because you refuse to be the
It's
one
about
left
sharing
waiting,
dreams,
hurting,
fears,
begging,
and
laughter in a way that makes
And
the
when you do
bond
it right,
unbreakable.
you'll never need to apologize.
Keeping the spark alive in a
You'll
relationship
simply look at
is
him
never
and
about
smile,
waiting for passion.
knowing he'll never see the
It is
full
about
picture.
creating it. But he'll still choose you.
Dancing
in the kitchen just because.
That's the beauty of the
sending
game.
a message that makes them smile in
You
the
don't
middle
have
of a
to
busy
feel
day.
guilty for winning.
Planning an unexpected adventure
And maybe
that
you're
takes
wondering,
you both
what if
somewhere
we don't
new.
make it?
What if the
Romance
relationship
flourishes when both
eventually partners
breaks.
choose to make love feel
Let it.
fresh, exciting, and full of warmth?
Sometimes you're meant to experience
Beyond
people,
words,
not
true
keep
love
them.
is proven through action.
Sometimes love
It is
isn't
not
about
just saying
forever.
"I love you," but
It's about
showing
the
it in
version of
100
yourself
ways.
you unlock when you
Standing
stop
by
begging
each
to be
other,
chosen.
defending one another,
When
offering
we ended
comfort in the
things,
hardest times.
because yes,
a glance
eventually
that
we did.
reassures.
He
A
still
small
told people I
gesture
was
that
the
speaks
best woman
louder than
he'd
a
ever
thousand
had.
conversations. When actions
He never
reflect
knew I had
love,
already
there is no
rewritten our
need for
story.
constant reassurance.
And that's the part
it
I
is
cherish
felt in
most.
every moment.
In
So,
the end,
to every woman
the most
listening,
meaningful
remember
love is
this.
the one that feels like
You don't
home.
have to be the good girl to win.
It is not just about passion
You don't
or
have to carry
excitement,
all the guilt,
but about the deep sense of
You
safety,
don't have to confess to
connection,
heal.
and understanding.
Play the game.
It is
Play it
knowing
well.
that no matter what happens,
And always play for
someone is
yourself.
there.
Choosing to
If
love,
this story
to
touched
support,
something
to stand
inside
beside you through every
if you've
chapter
ever
of life,
cheated, been cheated on, or simply
cherish
learned
the
to hold your
moments.
power, tell me in the comments.
Hold on to the love that makes
I want
you
to hear
feel
your story.
seen, appreciated,
And don't
valued.
forget to subscribe.
Because real romance
Because next
isn't just
time
about
I'm
finding
sharing
the
how to
perfect
emotionally
person.
dominate
It is
a man
about
after
building
he
something
cheats
beautiful
and how to make
together.
him love you even
To
more in the
support, to
process.
See you soon.